who work against racism and check your white privilege, please stand up. All the white people. I only want to see white people. This is proof that this ain't about you. This is about a systemic thing. Check yourself.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This story comes from Jackson, Michigan, and it's about a teacher whose tweets about whiteness were exposed, and now there are many of parents within the school district at school board meetings taking issue with it. So we're about to get into this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we watching. Now let's roll it.
Tonight, I am out front of Jackson High School, where this week residents and others voiced their opinions on a trustee member's tweets. In a meeting held to swear in 2 new officers and elected leadership positions, the focus from those who attended turned to something unrelated to school. 2 tweets sent out in December from her personal account. One from mid-December that you can see on the screen. Trustee Keisha Hamilton says, quote, "Whiteness is so evil. It manipulates, then says, I won't apologize for my dishonesty and trauma-inducing practices, and thinks you should applaud it for being honest about its ability to manipulate and be dishonest." A second tweet was sent earlier in December from her personal account to a response of a man saying, "Black male, alone, raining, foggy, hiking. You write the rest of the script." To which she responded, "The last thing you have to worry about is an animal, though that could be a very real threat. More dangerous are any white folks you may see on the trail. Be safe." Some people in attendance called for Hamilton's resignation.
She accused others for attempting to divide this community. This is exactly what she wants. This is why she is here. It is not for the students, the district, or the community. It is for her fame and notoriety and the intentional distraction from the great work that this district does. These posts were made to incite and divide with no explanation of her supposed intention until after she incited all this anger. She knows exactly what she's doing.
While others came out in support of Hamilton.
I know it's important to be able to have these kinds of discussions in the classroom. It's important to be able to have these kinds of discussions at the faculty level and also here with the board. So I hope that you don't dismiss her comments. I hope that you don't represent her as evil, but she brings something that's vitally important to us, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Keisha.
The meeting drew in about 100 people. School officials made the decision to bring in uniformed police officers for protection. Hamilton explained what she meant by her tweets by saying whiteness is a construct, a normalization with a foundation in white supremacy, as referenced by the murder of George Floyd, the massacre of black residents in Buffalo, New York, the attempted kidnapping of Governor Whitmer, the January 6th insurrection, and inconsistencies with the criminal justice system.
The real issue is not actually about me, and I realize that. What I am experiencing publicly as a black woman is what many of our black students and other vulnerable and marginalized groups are experiencing privately. The national temperature is at a boiling point, and this type of bullying, intimidation, gaslighting, ignoring, and attempting to silence that we have seen for a very long time, not only from individuals outside of this county, but also from this board table, is what's causing our educational system to fail here in Jackson.
At the end of the meeting, other board members spoke on what happened and are ready to move forward.
We have a lot of work to do. We can only address these issues if we can come together, agree to disagree, understand, take the time to ask those clarifying questions. At the fundamental level, our actions, our words, our beliefs should come from a place of love.
Your Jackson neighborhood reporter, Joe Gebhardt, Fox 47 News.
All right, guys, so you've seen that, you heard that. I want to go back and read a few things. So according to Keisha Hamilton, whiteness is a construct, a normalization with a foundation in white supremacy. Recent examples are the murder of George Floyd, the massacre of black residents in Buffalo, New York, the attempted kidnapping of Governor Whitmer, the attack on our democracy on January 6th, 2021, inconsistencies of our criminal justice system, etc. Now let's talk about this. So whiteness is a construct. Now I just got to point out, When you say that whiteness is anything, you talking about all white people. Because if any white person came out and said blackness is anything, every black person would have a problem with it. There is no way, up, down, left, right. There's no way that any white person come out here and say, well, blackness is this or blackness is that or black. You can't even say nothing good about black people and use that word blackness. It would not be allowed. All right. Some white person in a cape, a white knight in a cape will come and try to save the black community and say how that's not right. You can't say blackness, but you can say whiteness. And then we got a recent example of George Floyd's murder. I mean, are we not going to mention the fact that George Floyd was off drugs? He was, he was using counterfeit money. He was acting very irrational. He asked to be laid down on the floor. I mean, we can't just overlook so many facts. Maybe they could have handled that a little bit better, but in my opinion, George Floyd was someone who put himself in that position with bad decision making prior, leading up to that event. The attempted kidnapping of Governor Whitmer, I don't know too much about that. The attack on our democracy on January 6th, I mean, January 6th, I have my doubts about that still to this day, but I mean, there was literally a white lady killed. A white lady was literally killed, gunned down in that exchange. So, I mean, I don't know what type of whiteness and white supremacy they had going on January 6th, but it wasn't too good because a white lady got killed. That should be cardinal sin number one. Somebody should have been punished about that. But it was no big deal when it happened because these were Trump supporters. And inconsistencies of our criminal justice system. So I'm taking the time to kind of, I guess, debunk this stuff one by one. But, I think you have more white people. Well, first of all, more white people are gunned down by the police every year. I mean, there might be a discrepancy within the percentage of black people who are, harassed by cops, let's just say. But when you have a higher percentage of black people make 13% of the population, and we commit in about 50-something% of all the violent crime in the country. So when you have a stat like that pronounced, of course, you're going to see more attention. You're going to see more attention being paid to us when it comes to things like criminal justice, because we're so deeply involved inside the criminal justice system. We committed most of the violent crimes. So yeah, we play a big role in that. But also, let's just throw another stat out there. I think more white people die serving their country. I think more white people die on the line of as a police officer, as firefighters. It's more white people doing this stuff. So it's so much, like, white people sacrifice their lives just like everybody else does, and it's so much that we have to thank white people for, but we don't. We only look at the select few bad things, and also people like this tend to gloss over the things that black people do that aren't good or aren't conducive to them living a prosperous life themselves. Whiteness is so evil, it manipulates and says, I want to apologize for my dishonesty and trauma-inducing practices, and thanks. You should applaud it for being honest about its ability to manipulate and be dishonest. So she's basically saying, she said whiteness is so evil. Whiteness is evil. Like, what if someone said blackness is evil? I'm just trying to draw a parallel here. Like, what if somebody said blackness is evil, therefore we need to get rid of, like, do you see how bad that would sound? It's the same thing, but in reverse. Two wrongs don't make a right. Just because you black and black people have been wronged in this country and et cetera, we've been slaves, I get it. That doesn't mean that you should become the person that you hated. You shouldn't become the person who brought trauma to your ancestors. Why? You know better than them if you become like them. So that's tweet number 1. And where's the other one about jogging? She said something about jogging. Black male, okay, so somebody tweeted, black male alone, raining, foggy, hiking. You write the rest of the script. And then she says, the last thing you have to worry about is an animal, though that could be a very real threat. More dangerous are any white folks you may see on the trail. Be safe. So again, she's not talking about specific people. She is talking about white. She said whiteness. I saw whiteness. I saw white folks. If you said blackness and you said black folks, everyone would have a problem with that. You would be a racist. You know, and now I understand why white people call this, I understand why white people attack this as racist and why white people have such a problem with this, because she is coming at all white people, whether she wants to admit it or not. She's talking about all of them. You know, all white people have whiteness in them. You know, the same way all black people have blackness in them. And when you say white folks, you talk about white people. If you say black folks, you talk about black people. It's a very vague, it's very broad terms that she's using. All right, so it's also one more video I want to show you guys, because I thought this was, I think you might be entertained by this. Somebody by the name of Maisha Jones speaks in support of Keisha Hamilton at the Jackson School Board meeting. And yeah, I'm gonna just let this play for itself, you guys. Listen up.
The folks up here who don't understand. You see, ignorance, I understand ignorance, right? Ignorance means a lack of knowledge, you just don't know. And I understand the importance of language as having a master's degree in communication and leadership. So I want to help educate some of you, because nowhere in Keisha post did it say anything about white people. Not your white mother, not your white self, not your white daughter, and not your white son.
Did we see the same post? Do I need to bring it up again? The last thing you have to worry about is an animal, though that could be a very real threat. More dangerous are any white folks you may see on the trail. Be safe. Who is she talking about? She's talking about white people. And you know what? She probably brought that up because of the whole Ahmaud Arbery situation, jogging and things like that. But see, the problem is that people like her take instances where they don't even have all the facts and they don't even know everything about what happened, because there was a lot that came out about the Ahmaud Arbery situation after. And I know the guys got convicted, but you know, he was in people's property and doing a whole bunch of things that he shouldn't have been doing. Now, should he have got killed? You know, I don't think so. But you know, when you do stupid things, you win stupid prizes. But let's continue.
We're not talking about a person. Whiteness, okay, listen closely. Whiteness is the system, the ideology, the belief, the thought that because your skin is white, you are superior to black people. Because your skin is white, you deserve better. Because your skin is white, you have better opportunities, that you're just a better person. And that is not true. No human being, especially if you claim you love God.
See, and my problem with this is, how do you prove that? How do you prove that someone actually thinks that? You know, the way they line up their statements, it puts so much on the white people but it all assumes that their whole premise of whiteness is even true in the first place. You know, like all these white people here, out of all these white people here, how many of them know that they deserve better and know that they're better? And how do you even begin to prove such a thing? So all she's doing is making claims without any proof of anything. This is, you know, it's nothing solid. It's nothing factual here. This definition of whiteness is stupid. It's stupid because a definition has to be rooted in some sort of fact. And she's saying stuff up here that she can't even prove.
Should be in approval of the fact that any person based off of the color of their skin is better than another person. I'm speaking as a human being right now. We're human beings in here. And to the board, if you believe that somebody, because of the color of their skin, is better than someone else, then you have a problem too. Because as a board, you should be fighting against whiteness. Again, not white people, but the idea that because the color of your skin.
I gotta end it there, y'all. So you should be fighting against white. So we should all be fighting against whiteness. I'm sorry, man. I can't rock with this, bro. I really can't, you know. And look, and this is why black people like me get a lot of crap from other black people, and this is why most black people can't rock with people like me, because I just refuse to believe what's coming out of her mouth right now. You know, when you say things like whiteness, you talking about all white people. You know, you talk about white people. Because I guarantee you, if any white person came out and said blackness, every single black person will feel under attack by that statement. If somebody came out here speaking the way she did about blackness, then there would be all types of people speaking up like black people are under attack. This speech is violence. This is racist. It only works in reverse. It only works in reverse in this society, and I can't get down with that. But let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe on your way out the door. Till next time, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.